What to do when life gets hard. It's hard for all of us right now on the planet. There is a lot of tension in the air. I can feel like there is stress sort of infused into everything. People are tired. It's hard to get people to come out to events. It's hard to get volunteers. There are things that are happening, and it's just, I'd rather just stay home and curl up with Netflix or something like that. So, what do you do when things are hard and you feel like you're doing that slow swim through a bathtub full of molasses? I think I heard the best thing the other day. I was having a coaching session with a woman who is going through a lot of really difficult things in her life right now. Confidentially, can't get into the details of that, but one of the things she said struck me as really brave and really self-aware. And she said, I need to heal from within. I need to figure out how to heal myself inside so that I can continue to function with all of the hard things that I have to do on the outside. And I thought that is where it's at. Like, she knew enough that she needed to take a breath. She needed to focus on what is it that is the most important thing right now that I need to focus on. And part of that was self-healing. And I'm not talking just a bubble bath as far as the self-care tips. And I know I've been guilty of, do these 6 things and you'll feel better. And that's true to a point. There's habits you can build. There are things that maybe you've never tried that you can do. But the thing I wanted to talk to you about today, and this relates to your work. If work is really busy, if you're stressed because you're trying to find work, if you're not working, if you're working from home and you're trying to juggle 15 other things, it doesn't matter what the context is, but if you're finding yourself feeling that rising level of stress, which tends to happen even more at this time of year, then one of the best things that you can do is to give yourself a few minutes, even 10 minutes, to figure out what it is that is most important for you right now, and how can you fan the flame of that thing so that you can grow that fire, if we're going to use that metaphor, to get it to a place, to get yourself to a place where you feel some space, a little bit of ease in the stress and the chaos. Because sometimes what happens is we're just reacting. You go from one thing happens and you react. You go to another thing and react, and another thing and react. And that's a really difficult way to be functioning, especially not even just mentally, but physically as well. Your cortisol levels, that hormone that responds to trauma and to stress, can raise, and all sorts of physical things can happen when you are feeling exceedingly stressed and that you're just going from one thing to another and trying to solve problems and just basically survive. And I know that the holiday season is a stressful time for a lot of people anyway, without all of the world drama that's going on right now, and the divisiveness and the camps that people are parking themselves into. And so the invitation here today is to come back to you, and no, it's not selfish to do this. It's actually the biggest gift you can give to your family, to your friends, to the world, to your employer, to your workmates, is, where am I? Am I okay with, within here? Where am I? And what do I need right now to be able to continue in doing what I need to do? And so even if you take 10 minutes and think about it, you might want to write these things down. You might want to put them in your phone, or write them on an old-fashioned piece of paper, or put them in your computer, or whatever. But put the things down that mean the most to you, and then choose how you're going to give yourself more of those things. And it might be you need an extra 10 minutes of sleep in the morning, or go to bed half an hour early, or maybe you need to figure out how you can absolutely do that physical workout, because oh my goodness, it's better than drugs, right? Doing exercise is so good for your brain, for your stress levels, for your hormonal levels, for your body. And so is there a way you can build in even a little bit of movement into the day? It doesn't have to be a full-on hour-long gym workout. Oh my gosh, I don't do that. But can you do some stretching? Can you take the stairs? Can you park farther away in a parking lot? Can you, walk around the block or whatever at lunchtime or on a break? Can you do something physical that can help ground you and give you some space and some breathing and some time to think? Because that can really help when it feels like there's nothing we can do. It's easy to get overwhelmed, and it is very easy to feel like there is nothing that we can do. But it's not true. There are always things we can choose. There are always things we can say no to. I'm sorry, I can't do that. I can't go out. And the hardest part is to say no to something that's good and fun. Maybe you've got several invitations. It's that time of year. And maybe you actually, for your own self, need to pace yourself and to choose what things you're going to go to, even if they're fun things. The other question that I always invite people to think about, and I know this is a bit of a different video today, but I really felt like I needed to share this. Another thing that is good to think about is, whose expectations am I meeting by saying yes to this? Because every time you say yes to something, you say no to something else. Every time you say no to something, you say yes to something else, right? So whose expectations am I meeting here? Are they mine, and how high are they? Speaking as a 1 on the Enneagram, if you know anything about the Enneagram, as somebody who is a bit of a perfectionist, who is has a really hard time not having things just so, I can attest to the fact that my own expectations are really, really high. And sometimes that gets in the way. Like, I expect that this will look just this perfect way, or this event will unfold in this particular way. And I often have to sit back and say, whose expectations am I trying to meet here? Am I satisfying somebody else's expectations, and are they realistic? Or am I satisfying the expectations that I have, and how high are my expectations? Do I have to be excellent and amazing every single time, or is it okay to be good enough? And where is good enough, and what does that actually look like? So all of these questions, nobody needs to know that you're asking these questions, but these questions can be things that you ask yourself if you give yourself 5 or 10 minutes to just breathe and think about it, and look at your calendar, look at your week, and say, what do I need so that I can ground myself? It might be you need to play some more music, listen to music. It might be you need to spend more time playing with your kids on the floor. It might mean that you need to cuddle your dog or your cat, if you cuddle a cat, and go off and do something good for you. It might be that you need to close the computer and go do something with somebody, with people. Whatever it happens to be for you, you can choose instead of just react to the things that come your way. And the word no is powerful. And it's okay to say no if you're able to, if it's something that will give you a break and give you a little bit of space. So, my friends, in this very challenging time that we find ourselves in, where there is so much going on, where there's so much stress and worry, and it's COVID and flu and RSV and all these things are floating around. People are stressed. There's a war. I mean, there's just the political scene. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. There is something going on where you live that can be stressful and worrisome. And that's the global thing. That's not even your personal context and your personal circumstances. There are going to be difficult things going on in your life. I hope that you can give yourself the bandwidth, you can give yourself the space, you can give yourself time, even if it's just a little bit of time, to evaluate, to assess, and to make some choices so that you can be in control of some of it. You can't control all of it, but you definitely can control some of it. And that is my wish for you in this challenging time. Be well, my friends. If there's anything that I can help you with, make sure that you check out the CareersbyJenn.com website. I do one-to-one coaching and offer life coaching, success coaching, career coaching to help you live your most powerful and best life. And so I'm happy to help you with that. If you are interested in learning about how to have a morning routine that will give you that breathing time and that space, it's a routine that I like to practice in the mornings. If you want to know more about how to do that, then I will see you over in the next video.